Hej og velkommen til denne uges medgang. Vi skal denne gang en tur til X. Vi skal på godsbanen, og vi har også været på Moesgaard Museum. Men lad os starte, hvor vi startede. Vi skal nemlig en tur til X, hvor de har haft en teknologiudstilling.
Yeah, this is a 3D printer. I think right now it's printing a frog, a small plastic frog. But we can actually produce anything. We can print anything that we can kind of think of with a 3D printer. Now this is a very basic and simple 3D printer which print in a sort of plastic. But you can also get 3D printers that can print in metal and print in a lot of different materials. Something that we have here at nr.1 is that you can come and get help. And you can 3D print on your own. You can get help designing your own devices. And what we do here actually, this is a project called the Rehab Lab we are presenting here. And they're actually different citizens and students also. They come and develop different things like for every day. So this is actually like something, I think this was developed during Corona. So if you don't want to take the door handle, you can just take this and push the door handle down and open the door without even touching the door handle. This, for example, is for when you're shopping bag and it's plastic and it gets very heavy. It can really go down into your hands. And then you take really this smart one, and it's just like a normal handle. And this was developed for people with arthritis, like who have trouble, for example, moving their hand and holding a spoon properly. Then if they have this bigger handle, they are much more eligible to actually hold firmly on the handle. And some of these solutions have just been ordinary people coming and developing these solutions because they need them in their everyday life. So basically it's made for kids, much like, I know when I was little we had moon cars, like we drove around in the schoolyard and bumped into each other. Okay. This is the same thing, but it's created much like a wheelchair. Okay. And
so is it for a game?
It's for riding around in the schoolyard, and of course if we had two, we would be able to bump into each other. There's that big ring in front, and it's very similar to the stools that they use in wheelchair rugby, which is like a very fun sport for everybody basically. Also, like a wheelchair is driving a wheelchair can be interesting for everybody to actually try. Be sitting in a wheelchair and how it feels. That it's quite.
It's very hard on the
It's
arms.
very hard on the arms, and people who drive a wheelchair each day have much better muscles in the upper body than we usually have. So for kids, for example, it can be very learning to actually be able to sit in a wheelchair and see that it's not because that you are different in any ways. It's just because you cannot really move your legs, so you need this device. Maybe we can take Rehab here. So I don't know if you should try. So if you stand over here, Rehab here has a camera here. It's an infrared camera, so it can kind of measure your depth. And see you in infrared, and
so do this?
Yeah. So try and do something like this. Like you should follow this animation down here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then you have to jump
Oh, like literally?
Yeah.
Okay. And can I move?
Yeah, you should try and pick these stars. So
Pick like this.
yeah, and then
Okay.
now you have to jump
Okay.
and run on place and jump.
This is fun.
Great, you're a natural talent.
Definitely. Oui.
And climb, climb. Yeah, and now you have to surf.
Okay.
And lean, lean, lean.
Ah.
The other way, yeah, great.
And is this kind of to force people?
Yeah, so this, they have different modules and some that are made for people who, who has less functionality and for people who have more functionality. I think this one is, this is the hard one. You have to do a lot of squats, you have to jump, like do a lot of rigorous exercise. But it's also made for people in rehabilitation that are not able to move as well.
Okay.
And if I was just standing here telling you to do all of these things, I think there's probably no way I could tell you to jump and you would begin jumping, and squatting and you would begin squatting. So it's like gamification of movements.
I don't understand. What am I supposed to do?
You are supposed to dodge now.
Okay, like
And
this?
then you have to hit it. So you're boxing against this, and then sometimes it hits you.
I don't know.
Right hook, left hook, yeah, left hook. So this is like an interactive table. The table in itself is just a table.
Can you try to grab?
Yeah, you cannot get the fish up, unfortunately. It's a loop, so for reading. So if you have a bad eyesight, you could be reading a book like this. Let me just take something. And then the text becomes bigger. And I don't have an eyesight, so it's very... But you can try and just put it on your neck, and then, the loop will be working.
Okay.
So it's very simple.
Yes.
And this is then a digital loop, so it does the same thing. Let's just see. It does the same thing, just digitally. Så høj hygiejne. Rumi er designet med fokus på høj hygiejne. And then you can create different contrasts. You can also take pictures, for example. Yeah.
That's really nice also.
Det var lidt fra den interessante teknologiudstilling på DocX, og fra DocX så skal vi en tur til godsbanen, hvor man har haft North Sea Lake udstillingen, som blandt andet har noget med vikingerne at gøre.
And thank you so much for having us, Sarah and Brenda. So what is this exhibition about, the North Sea Lake about?
Well, it's about, basically it's about immigration. It's about the idea that immigration isn't a new thing. Immigration has been going on for millions of thousands of millions of years, yes. And but it's become very topical in the news recently, and it's as though it's a new thing, and it's as though it's a completely negative thing. And we wanted to look more into the positive aspects of immigration. So we began by looking at Norfolk as a whole, and how Norfolk had benefited from immigration from over the years, from the Bronze Age, Iron Age, Stone Age, right through to contemporary times. And we found that the Vikings were a vital part of that integration. And then we met someone called Brian Ayres, who had been studying this, and he had this concept that the North Sea was more of a lake, like a highway for trading and sharing of ideas. And that's what gave us the idea of calling our exhibition the North Sea Lake, and looking at the relationship between England and Denmark, as particularly East Anglia and Denmark. Well, Brian Ayres is a senior lecturer at the university, and he was incredibly helpful about the whole concept of travel and exchange between Denmark particularly and East Anglia. And so we explored, as Sarah was saying, all sorts of influences into East Anglia, and the fact that when you turn the map upside down or sideways on, you can really see it is a lake, could be a lake, and was connected by Doggerland till 12,000 years ago. When the sea levels rose after the Ice Age, it disappeared. But before that, you could actually walk from one landmass to another, from East Anglia to Denmark and to Europe. So, yeah. So initially we were working together, and because it was an art course, we were marking the students' artwork together and having these amazing conversations about their placements and their artwork. And we discovered that we had sort of a joint interest in several different aspects of art and social engagement. And when we stopped working on that course, we missed those conversations so much that we decided we'd meet up once a month and just go somewhere and see what happened, really. Not with a plan to work collaboratively, just to have those conversations. But as those conversations evolved, we discovered that we had so much in common. And when this opportunity came up to do a project for Norfolk 2000, we just thought, well, we have to do this together. And it's evolved from them. And we had this sort of basis that we were working on, where it had to be fun and it had to be enjoyable and not too stressful, because being an individual artist can be quite stressful and anxiety-making. But I don't know about you, Brenda, but I find that working together, you feel much more relaxed about what you're doing, and things like coming here to Denmark and putting a show up is much less stressful if it's shared with somebody else. And it's like an adventure.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, because working in your studio on your own can be quite lonely week after week. So it's very nice to have a contrast and to share ideas and to take risks or try out things that you wouldn't normally do in your own practice. So although I have a knowledge of printmaking, I'm not necessarily a screen printer per se. And likewise, you know, there are other aspects for you, aren't there?
Neither of us are like group people, really, are we? In the way we work, we are very individual in our own art practice, and to collaborate is quite an unusual thing. Very unusual. I've never done it before, and neither has Brenda, as far as I know.
Fra vikinger på godsbanen til uhyggelige uhyrer på Moesgaard Museum, for i december sidste år havde Moesgaard udstillingen The Dark Creatures of Christmas. Og det skal vi se en lille bid fra nu.
What are these dark creatures of Christmas?
Well, the dark creatures of Christmas are a bunch of folkloristic, creatures from all over Europe that we bring to life each Christmas here at Moesgaard Museum. And we have 11 of them this year. And they are mainly from Northern Europe and Eastern Europe, with a few dark horses in there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And they stem from very. Some of them are very old in both folklore and belief systems from ancient times. Some of them are quite new, or at least had their their period recently. Some of them are still in use, some of them not so much. And they all they all share a dichotomy between light and darkness. Some of them are here to warn us about all the darkness, or at least remind us that that not everything is peaches and cream, and not everything is like a big, bright red Santa Claus, Coca-Cola Santa Claus. That's not exactly what life is about. You can't just put joy into everything and just ignore the pain and the darkness. Well, in Russia, they have Ded Moroz, which is, Ded Moroz is, well, the Russian equivalent to Father Christmas. And he brings light as well. He usually comes in January, and he's not red, he's blue, because he's Father Frost. He comes with winter, and he freezes over the entire north of Russia. Which is a good thing, we are led to believe. He holds this shining star, which is actually a cross between a star and a snowflake, often. And well, he's a patron of all the good kids, which is important because you have to be polite if you meet him. If he asks you if you're cold, you have to say, oh no, not at all, dear Father Frost, no, not at all. I'm not cold, I'm perfectly fine, the weather is very comfortable. Then if you've been behaving well for the past year, he will give you a gift, often a fur coat or something like that.
Okay.
Well, these two are actually connected, so they're two different. So, and I think I'll go first with this one. This is the staff, the Lightbringer staff of Uge4.
They really like sticks.
They really like sticks. That's an old sign of, well, importance and regality, that you bear a staff, or a herdsman, that you're gathering your flock. Which is also what they do. This is the Lightbringer staff of Uge4, and he comes with bells, as you can hear.
Why is that?
Well, he has to summon all the people in the Polish, in Poland. This is his face. This is how he looks, of bark and wood and straw. And well, as I said, he's the light bringer. He comes around to people's houses during the darkest winter times to remind people that the light will come back. And he doesn't say anything, mostly. He hands out small presents, and he comes in what they call a collider. And the collider is like, it's like in Britain, where they go caroling, so they go around and sing to each other. It's practically the same thing, just Polish, with these figures. with Uge4, and you sing to bring the light back or bring the hope of getting the light back. Very, very nice looking creature. This is Turon. He's
Are
a
these
bull.
from wood?
He's made of wood here and something called wobbler. He is a very gentle bull.
Really?
He's very, very, well, you can see that he's very, very thin. He hadn't got a lot of to eat, and that is why he can never fall down or fall asleep. You have to keep him alive. And you do that by giving him presents. If he's about to fall down, you have to give him a present. Something to eat, preferably. In the old days, it was apples and, other kinds of food. Nowadays, if he comes around, it's more vodka and cigarettes.
Fra uhyre på Moesgaard Museum til afslutningen på denne uges medgang, for vi har desværre ikke mere til jer i denne omgang, men husk, vi er snart tilbage. På gensyn.